morning from Nebraska. We're having a beautiful morning today, and Josie and I are out doing our regular farm girl chores of the morning. We had kind of a late start today. I was browsing YouTube and came across Helen Wyatt's channel, and I spent like an hour and 40 minutes watching her drink coffee and talk about the rain while making concrete crafts with Portland, which is how we did our stepping stone, so that's probably why it came up on my suggested videos. But what an awesome channel. And you know, I really like YouTube for that. How you just come across all these authentic people, and it's this like really kind of awesome, intimate way to connect with people. You know, out here, it was kind of a long winter, and you know, having the 2 under 2 like I do, I don't really get out a whole lot. So I do love it here, but it does get a little bit, you know, it does get a little bit lonely, so it's nice to connect and see other people doing what we're doing and loving it. Yeah, I've really discovered some great channels lately. I had my first subscriber, our first subscriber, he mentioned us that we should check out Bobblehead Homestead, which we did. And, you know, his channel, it's got a large following, and, you know, and I can see why. You know, it's just an authentic human being just enjoying their life, talking about their chickens, getting their, like, you know, anticipating their cabin coming. Like, I'd be super excited. You know, you can't help but feel a little bit excited for him. And then through that, I discovered Start From Seed, who's a Canadian guy, and he's on a ranch with his dog, or farm, I should say. And you know, that's a really nice channel, and he's doing all kinds of cool stuff. He's, you know, got a pretty big variety of animals, really, and you know, he's actually dedicated quite a bit of time to you know, like just infrastructure and making his channel kind of a cohesive piece. You know, like ours is kind of all over the place. Like, who are we? What are we? What are we doing here? I don't know. But I did put some seedlings in the ground. I'll get out of the way here, my shadow. And I put them in last night, and they are appearing to love life. So probably follow suit and put some more stuff in our actual garden space here, and I'll have to find a makeshift gate till Zach gets around to creating a more permanent one. Just something to keep the chickens out. Surprisingly, they haven't messed with this yet. I'm actually most worried about the cats, because they like to come in here and go to the bathroom. All right, Josie, let's go back up to the front yard. Come on. Where's your shoe? Where's your shoe? Ooh, that mulch. Youch. Goodness, it's like a real Easter egg hunt out here right now. Apparently the chickens are a little bit confused since we moved their home. I don't think they've all figured out where to go yet. Here you can see some of the pavers we made last night. I thought this one was pretty funny. It's always fun to get different people in on projects and see how differently they do things. But yeah, because I wouldn't have thought of making faces, but I actually really like that a lot. That was our neighbor that did that. And I don't know how serious he was because drinks were had, but he was saying that I was going to get in on some branding of calves. I'm flattered that they think I can wrestle a calf. But we'll see. It could be pretty fun. Good morning. I did do some filming outside today, but it was really windy, so I figured I'd come back in the house and try again. Josie's down for her nap, and I'm actually nursing Levon. This is typically where I sit when I look at my videos and edit and upload. And I actually did, for once, kind of make a little list of key points I would like to talk about, because usually once I turn the camera on, I kind of lock up and I get distracted, and I often misspeak, don't say what I mean to say, or forget to say something, or maybe don't even really say something correctly. But I guess kind of what I wanted to mention is just kind of how we got into this whole YouTube thing and where our interests lie with it. You know, I've been watching YouTube for years, you know, music videos, you kind of get into the comedy stuff, you know, like everybody watches Jenna Marbles. You know, and I'm already going off script, where my interest really started and took off is, I used to make really long playlists when I had an office job. I used to run a website. It was a store, and I'd sit in my office and I'd have my iPhone, and I would, like, every morning I'd make like a huge playlist of homesteading YouTube videos or people being off grid. Back then, off grid was really what I wanted to do. And I would just have my earbuds in and I would just let that play like all day while I was working. And it's so crazy to finally be in a situation that's so close. It basically is what I always wanted. You know, but it's been kind of a crazy journey, you know, because like it was pretty obvious to me at an early point that I probably wouldn't be able to just go out and buy land or buy a farm with a house on it. I couldn't afford it. Or if I could, there's this kind of paradox of, you know, you can't get the mortgage unless you have a job, you know, but I couldn't have afforded to keep paying for my present living situation and pay a mortgage on something large like that. And then, you know, when you find the property, it's like, what do? You go get a job in that area first and then try to, you know, wing it and somehow get this mortgage. I don't know. For me, it didn't make sense. I couldn't do it. My ex at the time, he had like all this college debt, and he couldn't, you know, there's just no way we could afford it at the time. And so we went with kind of plan B, which was we started watching people who lived in vans. We started watching people who lived in school buses, campers, you know, and we had a dog and 2 cats. So for us, a van didn't make a lot of sense. We knew, I know it probably doesn't make a lot of sense anyway, living in even a large camper with a dog and 2 cats, but we did do it. We wound up getting a 1960 school bus, which was really cool. Like it was only $2,000 and it ran, and it was already gutted. Somebody had lived in it before, and the lady was awesome. We bought it from, hey boyo. But as you could expect, a 1960 school bus isn't the most reliable choice. And we had an issue with it where we just couldn't fix it. And we probably could have had it fixed, but the mechanic we went with, it was in a small, I'm gonna have to pause. Anyway, wrap this up. Let me make sure I'm recording. Yep. Okay, so wrap this up real quick. So I can get back to my script. That's about the time I met my husband, Zach. And judge me if you want. I did write a blog article about it once, and I remember one of the comments was like, "These hoes ain't loyal." That probably is how it sounds, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta go with your heart, and I did, and I'm not sorry. So anyway, so the next step was to get a truck and camper, and I did do the work camping thing for a little bit. I tried to move down to Arkansas, but I couldn't get rid of Zach out of my mind, and so I did something crazy, and I left my amazing situation work camping at this gorgeous fishing resort where I actually got paid and a free place to live. Hey, in the camper, you know, like this amazing camp house spot with my rusted out truck and 76 camper, you know, I was next to like almost $1 million RVs all the time. But yep, so I came up here to be with my husband, and I'm never gonna get this done. Okay, Levon is in the jumper, so hopefully I can finish this before my battery dies. Anyway, another kind of side story to that is I was watching Start From Seed Homestead, and I and Jason made the comment about how he got into his homesteading life situation basically just trying to make the best life for his dog. And I can actually really relate to that because my dog Marley, who I still have out here, he's aging, he's getting old, but I'm pretty much here because I was making lifestyle choices for him. Because when I first got him, I was 21. I lived, in a third story of an apartment in the middle of Omaha, and I felt bad for him. Like, I'd be at work and he'd be in the apartment for like 8 hours, and I'd come in, he'd just barely make it out before peeing all over the place because he was so excited to see me. And so my next step was I went and got a house with a backyard and a dog door, and that seemed better. And really just kind of the fantasizing about the homesteading thing, or the self-sufficiency thing, or the work camping thing, like all those things, the end game was to, let my dog Marley run and be free. And so I thought that was kind of sweet that Jason and I kind of shared that. But yeah, and that's the other thing, is since I started this channel, I always used to watch, people like Justin Rhodes, who pretty much everybody knows. He's really cool. Roots and Refuge with Jessica and Maya. I love watching them. Like, I feel like Jessica's just got this like personality that just really comes through in her smile, which sounds hokey, but I do enjoy watching her. And then our first subscriber, which came out of nowhere, like the very first day we posted a video, we had 0 subscribers, and this guy just came up out of nowhere and started like kind of giving us advice about how to improve our channel. And his recommendation was we go over to Bobblehead Homestead. And it kind of took me a little while to actually get over there and actually sit down and watch some videos. But, he's really likable too. That's an authentic human being, and that's the cool thing about YouTube. Like this morning I had kind of a late start getting out to do I call it farm girl chores. Like me and Josie, that's part of our routine after breakfast, is we go do our farm girl chores, which is basically just check on our seedlings, feed the cats, feed the dogs, check on the chickens, get our eggs. But I had a late start this morning because I discovered Helen Wyatt in Georgia. She's got 73,000 viewers, and this lady is 80. And I watched like an hour and 40-minute long video of hers today where she's literally just making cement crafts and dropping little wisdom bombs throughout the whole thing, and talking about the weather and drinking her coffee. And I was sitting there drinking coffee with Helen Wyatt this morning, and that's just really cool thing about YouTube. Another thing is from seed, I also got directed to Jody Farms, and he made the comment that guy does not have enough subscribers for how great his work is, and I have to agree with that. I think he's sitting at around 600 subscribers right now, and he's actually on like a real operating organic farm. It's at least second generation, because he's there doing it with his parents. And, that's just intimidating to me, and it really makes me realize how, not intimidating in a bad way, like it's really just a wealth of knowledge, and I love it, but it's like, it makes me realize how little, even though we are so close to farming out here, like we're raising the 4th generation of kids to this family, in this house, on this farm. Zach was born here, his dad, his grandma and grandpa bought this place, when his grandpa came back from World War II. And, they started off, and I've never met his grandpa. His grandpa passed away, I think in the 90s, but we still visit with his grandma. She's in her 90s. I really love her. The cool thing about her, probably the biggest compliment I get is from her. And she always says that we are the oldest young farmers she knows, because she's been out here and like seen our pigs and how we do things. And I just thought that was really flattering, because when she came out here, things were totally different. Like, they used to have some dairy cows. She'd milk her cows and take the milk and cream to the grocery store, and that would pay for their groceries. Like, they used to grow watermelons and peas. And I think the farm down the street, which, when I say down the street, it's a couple miles down the street, Zach told me they used to be a truck farm. They grew all kinds of things. And you don't see that out here anymore, because we kind of live in this weird You know, I know this isn't like breaking to anybody. Everybody knows about how farming's going. But we actually live in a pretty good area. Like, we don't have like factory farms around here. Like, there's a couple that you'd call that, but for the most part, we just have still small family farms, but they're very large. You know, you can't make it out here unless, I think Zach was saying, you need to have like 3,000 acres out here to make it. And that's a big chunk of land for one person to keep track of. And but yeah, it's just kind of interesting how we're so close to farming. You know, Zach worked at the grain elevator, the co-op, something that Zach's grandparents were in on, you know, establishing out here. You know, they were all shareholders, and you know, that stuff's kind of slowly changed. But you know, that's the only way I really know how to do anything out here is like corn, wheat, milo. You know, say we did pull something off kind of unconventional, like, you know, what I'm watching Jody Farms do, like, he's harvesting chamomile. It's like, I wouldn't even know what to do with chamomile if I pulled off that. Like, where would I go with it? I don't know. Where's the chamomile market in western Nebraska? If you know, tell me. You know, the best thing we can really think to do is just try to keep growing what we do and try to feed ourselves and our family. And if we could make money doing it, that'd be great. You know, we do want to try some farmers markets out here. We're not going to sign up to do them every week, you know, but you can just pop in on one out here, and I think it's like 11 hours a day or $11 a day. You know, but this is our 4th year out here, and the first year was really just our garden and cleanup. You know, 2nd year, same thing, more cleaning up, more renovations, and we added chickens. The 3rd year, we added pigs. This year, we're going to do pigs again, and we're going to add ducks, turkeys, and geese, as well as more chickens. So, you know, every year, and our garden got a lot bigger. Our garden's going to be a lot bigger this year, at least 5 times bigger than normal. So, you know, and it's not big, it's not a lot, but, you know, we're moving forward. Every year we do a little bit more. And yeah, and now we're adding YouTube. So anyway, thanks for watching. I really would appreciate a subscribe. Any tips, comments, advice, whatever, compliments. Anyway, we appreciate it all. Thanks. Bye.